Welcome, dear listener, to a quiet evening wrapped in mystery. Tonight we journey to a place both forgotten and remembered, a town cloaked in mist and whispered secrets, a place where the fog never lifts entirely and where the past isn't left behind, only softened by time. There is a place where the fog never fully lifts, a town tucked deep between silent hills and sleep-heavy trees. The kind of place that doesn't appear on most maps. Locals call it Drowsy Hollow, and they say some stories there never end. They simply fade, like mist. This is one of those stories. It's about Elowen Grey. She wasn't famous, not quite a recluse, but always just out of reach. She lived at the edge of town, where the cobbled road disappears into the trees, in a small stone cottage wrapped in ivy and silence. She had a garden that grew wild, with herbs no one could name, and sunflowers that reached for moonlight instead of sun. Elowen loved quiet things: moths, stormy skies, old paper, unfinished books. She walked with bare feet through wet grass, always with a leather-bound notebook tucked beneath her arm. She would stop in the town square sometimes to leave a letter at the post or borrow a single book from the library. Always the same seat by the window, always gone before dusk. And then one morning, she was simply gone. No one heard her leave, no carriage was seen. Her door stood open, the tea still warm on the windowsill. Her boots were by the door. A note was pinned to the gate with an old brass key. It said, "Find me where the water mirrors the sky." The town stirred gently, like waking from a long dream. Whispers turned into wonder, wonder into worry. A search began. Slowly at first, as if even the townsfolk were unsure whether she wanted to be found. They looked in the garden, in the woods, down by Mirror Lake. But the forest swallowed sound, and the lake gave no reflection that day. Just grey water, like a sky with no stars. In her cottage, they found her notebook, filled with pressed flowers, sketches of strange trees, and poetry written in the margins of maps. One entry stood out: "If I am taken, do not pull me back." Some places aren't escapes, they're invitations. The librarian, Mrs. Caldwell, remembered her asking about books on folklore, especially one about the old lighthouse, half collapsed, at the far edge of the lake. No one had lit its beacon in decades. Still, some nights, a light flickered there. The baker said he saw her the day before, walking toward the woods, not fast, but not slow either. Focused, holding something, he thought, maybe a mirror, or a lantern. He wasn't sure. The children said they found footprints in the mud near the lake, too small for most, but too deep to have been hers alone. Old Tom, the town's unofficial storyteller, insisted it wasn't the first time someone disappeared that way. He told tales of reflections that don't return your face, of paths that show up only when you aren't looking for them, and of names that are whispered back to you by the trees. Some dismissed him, others listened a little too closely. Weeks passed, then months. The garden overgrew, ivy crept over her door. Her cottage seemed to exhale, tired, waiting. But sometimes, just sometimes on a fog-heavy night, travelers say they see her. A girl walking the shoreline of Mirror Lake, barefoot, holding something close to her chest, never looking up. Some say she's looking for a way back. Others say she's not lost at all. She just chose a different world, one where quiet things are never questioned. So now, dear listener, as you lie still beneath your own blanket of night, ask yourself, what did Elowen see that morning? Where did the water take her? And if you followed her path, Would you return? Sleep well, and if you dream of a misty lake, a girl in the distance, and a light that flickers just once, be sure to write it down when you wake. Until we meet again.